in Murray Council. She's a vet, she's standing in the Forest Ward, and just as we were getting ready to come on stage, she told me she first met our leader Douglas Ross when he was 17. Now she hasn't told me any of his secrets, sadly, but please welcome Kathleen and we'll maybe get some now. Kathleen, welcome.
Good afternoon, conference. My name is Kathleen Robertson and I am delighted to be addressing you as a Conservative candidate for Forres at the local authority elections. Community empowerment is something I have always been passionate about, and standing for election is the next step in my journey, of which the most recent step was becoming chair of my local community council. Councils use the phrase community empowerment to imply the creation of a stronger community. But what does community empowerment look like to local communities, and what is their experience of attaining it? Firstly, let's recognise that communities are empowering themselves. They already support their residents, fundraise for new facilities, or express the community's needs and aspirations. During the pandemic, people came together to support one another in their time of need. Secondly, there are incredibly talented, dedicated and selfless people who willingly give up their time to improve their local area. Consider local facilities and services which have come about through the hard work of residents. In my ward alone, there is Forres in Bloom and the Forres Heritage Trust, which would not exist without community involvement. Thirdly, communities know what their area needs best. Currently, I'm involved in a community collaboration to install an outdoor gym to enhance fitness and well-being and provide a barrier-free asset to the community. And fourthly, community councils provide a place for debate on local issues and accountability for local council. As chair of the community council, my experience is in debating the pros and cons of community asset transfer of common good. This enabled us to object with good evidence-based reason to the public consultation and involve the community by giving them a framework to decide whether to support the proposed transfer. So in my opinion, communities do know what empowerment is. Community empowerment is activism, fundraising, and the ability to challenge local change. Unfortunately, their experience of empowerment is all but empowering. Too many times the council fails to respect and involve local groups and community councils in decisions about local assets and services. We are always an afterthought. This is because the local council sees community involvement as a way to get consent for decisions they have already made. The expectation of local councils for community empowerment is to do the things they don't want to do or can't afford to do. For instance, Murray Council decided to transfer town halls to the community, but it's not empowering to have services thrust upon communities because of a decision taken without their involvement. Nonetheless, local groups stepped up and did take on the halls for the good of their community. In contrast, when the community wishes to be empowered to deliver a service or manage a facility, the council bureaucracy goes into overdrive. Too often the community groups are overwhelmed by the process and projects end up being passed from department to department. This ties up the efforts of volunteers and can end up discouraging groups to take their projects forward. Council's due diligence overrides community empowerment. Going forward, community empowerment needs the support of the local council, and the council needs the support of communities. But this requires local authorities to be constructive, supportive and facilitative rather than obstructive. As we enter the forthcoming election period, I would like to see us, as Conservatives, work for the betterment of our communities. Drawing on my own community council experience, our best successes came when we worked together for a common goal. All of this leads to strengthening and empowering our local communities with a team approach. Finally, as local councillors, we need to bridge that gap between communities and local authorities to gain an agreed understanding of community engagement. Only through this agreed understanding will we truly achieve community empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. We look forward to seeing you elected in May.